Hello, and welcome to an Evil Clown Slayer review / unboxing. So I picked this thing up back in November, and to be honest, I was excited to have some more Terminator in my life. Again, I got this back in November, and then what made me realize, oh shoot, I still have this sitting in a box. The McFarlane release was just announced, and that's supposed to be coming in another couple weeks. I was like, oh, I got one of these Terminators sitting around downstairs. I haven't opened it yet, so I figured, what the heck, let's pull this out and take a look. Get a little more Terminator action going on in our life before we get the McFarlane one. Now, JoyToy is awesome. I love JoyToy. Their figures are great. And I've been kind of reluctantly collecting more and more of them. But my true love are the McFarlane figures, the Warhammer McFarlane, those 12th scale or whatever they are. Quite a bit bigger. Not quite as expensive as these guys. But these these JoyToys are awesome. I do love these JoyToys. The details on them are great. They're just expensive. I can't afford to get these all the time. But regardless, I picked this up in November. I think it might have been for Prime Day or something like that. Got it on sale, or I feel like I got it on sale. To give you an idea, it was around 40 bucks. Again, I got it from Amazon for around $40. So I just figured, what the heck? Let's take a look. I have a couple of these. I have a few other JoyToys, not a ton, so nowhere near as exciting as some of these other guys out there with hundreds of these things. But let's take a look. So these are 18th scale, so again, not quite as big as, they're quite a bit bigger than the actual miniatures, but they're nowhere near as big as the McFarlanes either. So one of the things I like about the McFarlanes is that they're huge and they take up a lot of shelf space if you want to display them. So they look good. The JoyToys are very detailed. I feel like they have a lot better detail painted, and they have a lot more stuff going on than the McFarlanes. But again, they're just not, when you put them on the shelf, they just don't stand out as much. They don't pop. They're just a little too small in my opinion. You can't really display them that easily. So these guys are everywhere. You can get these in Amazon, Big Bad Toys, Entertainment Earth. Again, the easiest place, usually the cheapest place, if you pay for Prime anyway, is just Amazon. So let's take a look here. This is me just looking at them for the first time. So I used to play this game, Warhammer, back in, this is probably 20 years ago. Some of my buddies. We'd get together and sit there and paint for hours and hours and hours, and then sit there and try to play a game and spend more time arguing about the rules and actually finishing the game. So it was a lot of fun. The stuff I really remember the most is sitting around painting, listening to music of the time, like Korn or Limp Bizkit. You'll make fun of me in the comments, please. Yeah, so again, just taking them all in right now. Pretty nifty looking guy. The Terminators, I bought this guy before I heard the McFarlane. I apologize, if you're a JoyToy fan, you're going to hear McFarlane quite a bit this time, for this video, because I'm really excited about the McFarlane Terminator, who will be probably twice as tall as this guy. So when that guy comes out, I'll be doing a video on him, and we'll do a little side-by-side. But yeah, detail-wise, just looking at the picture, just looking at his paint, some of the shading there and his helmet look really good. There are a lot of different colors on here, which is awesome. I'm not sure how they do those stripes and things like that, but looks fairly clean. As clean as Space Marine would probably do it. They got all this little font scribbles on there, along with this little shield guy. I'm assuming that's just gibberish. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if it actually said something. It'd be cool if it was like really stamped on there. But if anybody knows if that's a real language, let me know. Terconon. Oh, is that the guy's name? I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, yeah, that is. That's supposed to be his name. I was looking at the box. There's your Ultramarine's toilet seat symbol there. So the Terminators are, the Terminator armor, I should say, are basically just Space Marines on steroids. Other than they don't go as fast, which is kind of weird. Steroids, you always think they're going to run faster, but these things are meant to be quite a bit stronger and more durable, so they can absorb tons and tons of punishment as far as being shot or whatever. But they're a little more slow, a little clunkier. Some more little purity seal here. I've seen a lot of videos, or I've seen a couple videos anyway, these things just pop off. I'm afraid it's going to snap right off. What the hell are these things called? The crux something. But I believe these are supposed to tell you that there's like a little bit of the Emperor's armor in there. It gives them a little bit better, whether it's good luck or whatever. Alright, well, nice looking guy. He looks really sharp in person. Let's take a look at this articulation. I'm not sure. I have an early Terminator, a Chaos Terminator. And they got a weird, like, butterfly, or I think it's called a butterfly thing, where their arms flop around, and it's nice for the amount of articulation you get out of it, but it's almost too much, where it looks unrealistic. Like the Gilliman character I have, he's got that same kind of fly. This guy does not have that, and I'm actually kind of happy about it. I usually start my videos with a little stop motion of some sort, and those little flopping, those little flopping shoulders make it really hard to do certain poses and stuff like that, or especially if the arms keep swinging back around. But yeah, so let's take a look here. So he could do some splits almost if you really wanted him to. He does have the little toesy articulation, so you want to make him do some extra cool stances. Knees double jointed. Alright, sorry about that. Family's home today, so some obligations. And also the Lions are playing the Rams right now for the wild card, so you'll see my voice changing throughout this video if I have any more stops, because I'll be running up there to check the score, see how we're doing. So far we're doing good. We're up, but don't want to get too excited. Okay, so we're looking at some articulation. Again, got some good leg articulation here. Pretty nice. They can pivot here. It makes me happy because one of my other early figures I got, you pivot like that. This spin part here, the leg was falling off right about that spot. It was like regular Ultramarine. I ended up returning them for that reason. It drove me nuts. And yeah, JoyToy's been pretty good to me. I'm liking their figures are good. I'm not like, it's starting to drive me nuts though, because every time I get one of these figures, it is like almost brand new. It's completely different compared to the other one. Like I pull out my Terminator, Chaos Terminator, and this is almost a completely different build than the old one. And it's also about a head taller, so I'll pull that out in a minute here. So yeah, instead of that butterfly butterfly hinge, they just have some kind of, it's hard to see, but there's like a rubber band type thing in there that kind of holds it in place. And you just have a little bit of rock to it, but it's not, so there's no shoulder in and out other than you get wiggle. Which again, for a Terminator I'm fine with. I like that because that's all they're in real life. I mean, you're not going to be able to shrug your shoulders and do all sorts of crazy stuff. You're wearing probably half a ton of armor. Picking at this guy, what I like a lot, like I feel like this thing looks really cool. And just kind of like some just dry brushing, it looks like, but regardless, looks good. Same here. It gives you that stone impression. I kind of wish it would have been more of like a coppery color or gold color. I feel like that's what they should all be. That's what I'm just used to seeing. I don't know if there's accuracy to that or not, but this is how I feel. Again, sorry, the lighting's not very good, but there's a little rubber band in there that holds this in place. So he's got his real shoulder here, and then this thing is just kind of held up here by this stiff rubber band or rubber chunk that kind of holds the shoulder up. So yeah, again, articulation-wise, not bad. For a giant character like this, you're not going to expect them to be doing jumping jacks or burpees or anything like that. I feel like there's too much of this script work on this guy. I keep going over it. We got it here, 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 here. I mean, we got it like 6 times, 7 times. It's kind of getting a little bit overdone here. And then I think another miss is, they always say High Gothic is basically Old English. It would have been cool if this was legible. You could actually read what it says. And it might mean or say something in a different language, but not to me. Sorry, and I said Purity Seal earlier. This is a Oath of Moment. And I mean, paint-wise, this is definitely more detailed than you get with like a McFarlane figure, and we'll see that hopefully in a couple weeks. Quite a bit more detail, but in a little bit. I mean, you get more than just flat all blue with some all black. You do get a little shading in here. It looks like they just dry brushed that maybe. Again, there's some more depth. I mean, some of the stuff that stands out to me, the helmet, they did a good job of a lot of color in there. They got that line. It looks like they did throw some like inks almost in there. I'm not sure how well it's showing up in the camera, but to give it a little more depth, I do like that. Make some of the details pop here. All right, we haven't even looked at any of his accessories. So this guy, I'm actually happy about it. Like I almost all of the ones I've gotten so far, they come with multiple heads. Like I don't care about the heads. I don't really like the Space Marines without heads. I feel like most action figures do not look good with real faces. It's really hard to paint them right. So I just prefer helmeted figures. This nice looking sword, pretty ginormous. Oh, we'll have to figure out how to get that in his hand later, because that hand is very stiff. Hopefully, I'm assuming that can go in there. Let's see here. You got kind of a build on this thing, the crux. Cram it in there. Big old storm bolter. Nice hollow. It's smart to do that. I mean, especially these big, chunky, the Warhammer style guns, you need it to be hollow because they're just, this would be half his weight if it was solid. So yeah, you get a nicer double-headed Aquila. Actually have that drilled out so you can see in. That's kind of cool. Or not even drilled out. It's just, again, it's hollow so you can see into the gun. It's kind of cool that it's hollow like that. I feel like you don't see that very often. Again, details here, pretty good. I mean, just 2 colors with a little bit of shading. Let's see if I can cram this into his hand. Man. So, does hold that pretty good. It does come with another pair of hands. I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know why. Why do we need more hands? Oh, is it just, it's just so you could reverse it. So you could, so that was, his left hand was a trigger, like holding a trigger gun. I could put another one here and he could have 2 guns if I wanted him to. Okay, I see, if I had a second gun. And then this is his, like again, a sword hand, I could reverse it. So if I wanted my sword in my right hand, I could switch it around. I'm not going to sit there and swap it out. I don't really care that much. Now I do have to figure out how to get this this hand is very stiff, and I'm afraid that if I, well, let's see. Oh, all right. Let's see if I can cram this sword in there, because what's a Terminator without a giant sword, huh? Yeah, I'm probably going to have to use the hot water trick. I'm afraid I'm going to snap this thing right off. I mean, it's just, you can see it's not going to cram in there. So give me a sec. I'm going to go run some hot water over this hand, and then I'll be back and kind of explain to you how that went. Okay. All right, I'm going to go up on this. All right, so the hot water trick did the trick. So anybody new to getting these things, understand that the hands are very stiff, or at least this guy's hand is. And it works. It's pretty common with a lot of other figures. You run hot water over it for a few minutes, just the hand by itself. I popped it right off, ran hot water, about 30 seconds to a minute, and it warmed it up just enough where this got loose enough where I could kind of pry the fingers apart, and then put his sword in. And that's kind of nice, because then once it cools down, it gets back to room temperature, it's nice and, I mean, it's in there. And if I really wanted to yank that sword out, no problem taking it out. A little trickier getting it back in. So, another thing I was just kind of looking or noticing, this looks a lot better, like, again, compared to the other guy, like when he's doing something like this. And he does have a little bit, there's some kind of a joint in here, so he does have a little bit of articulation in there that the other guy, it was different, the Chaos guy that I had. But I did mention he was quite a bit bigger. And I get it, maybe this is the logic behind it, maybe he's supposed to be a Primaris, which lore-wise means he's a few inches taller. But here's my Chaos guy. Oop. Standing him up right next to the Chaos guy, there is a significant, I mean, to me anyway, it seems significant difference here as far as size goes, and that's both at attention, like just looking at the head level. I mean, the head proportions are about right. And I don't know what they did. They did something that makes his arms look a little too long to me, more like almost like orangutan. It's just like it seems so long. It seems almost like there's no way this guy's with arms that long, his stubby little legs, it just proportion-wise doesn't look right. Where this guy, his arms are definitely not as long. It's hard to say side by side. Okay, so you can see it almost right there. They did, like they added like an extra 1/4 inch here, and for a small figure like this, that's a lot. You don't have that same thing here. And then just kind of compare you, I guess, the joints here. This is way more. But again, it's loose. It's like sloppy almost, where it's hard to, he won't hold a pose because that. So again, I don't know what you call that. I think it's a butterfly joint or something like that, which is definitely pros and cons. Again, realistically though, that's just unnatural. You're not going to see a Terminator hunch their shoulders or look goofy like that. So yeah, I do like these JoyToys. It is kind of, like I said, it's kind of, it's fun, but also, like, I buy about one or two of these a year, on average, I feel like, and every time I get one, they're slightly different than ones I had before, so it's hard to tell what you're going to get. So it's good and bad. There's some improvements, there's other things that kind of like makes me miss the old stuff. Still, one of my favorite ones is this guy, and I believe he's like one of the original first edition ones. But scale-wise, it's just such a big difference there. And again, it might be because he's one of the original ones. They were a little smaller. Comparing him to this guy, it's hard to imagine the same guy in this armor could wear this armor. Again, like just thinking about where his shoulders would be inside of there. Same for this guy. Yeah, the newer ones are great. Like I'm assuming this is a newer one. I know they're on like version 3 or 3.0 or whatever. But these original ones, I feel like they just did such a better job with the painting and the details. Like I don't know. This thing pops quite a bit more. This one looks kind of bland in comparison, the Terminator. But still awesome. I mean, trust me. I mean, I'm not going to bitch and complain I love anything Warhammer, and I love this just this franchise, and the fact that anybody's making them is awesome. And they are worth it, and I'd pay money for it. But here's again one of my other why I say well, actually, I mean this figure. So comparing these two, they're not as significantly different, but this guy was about $20 retail, and this guy, I mean, he ranges, depending on the day of the week, at least on Amazon, ranges from $45 to $50 on a lot of days. So it's like it's hard for me to say I would rather pay 45 or 50 for that compared to 20 for this. Now, to be fair, the new McFarlane figures, it looks like they're all going to be $30 going forward, and then the Terminator version is going to be even more. That's going to be close. That's going to be $50. But again, the $50 version of this, which is, we'll see, probably about a little bit taller than this guy, and probably about a pound of plastic, versus this guy, retail, if you don't get it on sale, it's going to be about the same price. But, I mean, just, again, why I love my McFarlanes. I do love the JoyToys, though. These are sweet. I just can't afford them. I can't afford to get 10 to 15 of them. Like, I can't justify it anyway. Like, McFarlane, I have probably 30 figures of it. Or maybe not 30. Maybe 20 figures. But they're all $20 or less what I paid for them. So it's like, these guys are all $30, $40 or more. Especially start taking into account the Primarks and stuff like that. I'm like $150. Like, ugh. They're awesome. Details are great, but I don't know if it's worth the difference there. But that was that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you watching. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other notes and stuff I was supposed to talk about. If you're interested in the lore at all, these things, again, the Terminator armor is meant to be, at one time it was meant to be a replacement for the standard armor. This is like Mark 9 or Mark 10, but the basic version, when the Great Crusade was going on, the Emperor started trying to retake the galaxy. Most of the guys were in similar armor to this, much more primitive compared to this one, but they were all in smaller armor, and they were all dying really quick, or they were dying quite a bit. Let's put it that way. So they ended up searching around, and they figured out, hey, this armor we wear, our engineers wear to work on like spaceship reactors and things like that, worked pretty well. It's also throw some photos up. There's like 2 or 3 versions of Terminator armor that are at least popular. There's all sorts of variants and like Primark special ones, whether the Primarks are wearing them or there's some stories where Vulcan, one of the Primarks, Vulcan made custom armor and Terminator armor, and like some of the chapter master heroes and whatever, all of their own special marks of armor and all that. But there's really like 2 or 3. This one is the Indomitus, I believe. And then there's like the ones that you saw in the Horus Heresy era, and that was the Cataphracti. And there was something before that, like a Saturn pattern or something goofy, and it looked really, had a big old humongous shoulders that connect to the top, kind of looked silly almost. But those were like the 3 main ones, and then after that, this is basically the standard currently going forward. I think these are supposed to be the most, mass-produced advanced ones that you'll find. Again, other than some of the whether it's a Primarch wearing one or special characters like the chapter masters of some of the Space Marine chapters would have some special armors. And there's like Custodes versions, and then there's the Imperial, what the hell are they called? Those gray guys, the Gray Knights. They have those gray guys. The Gray Knights, which are psychic-based guys, but they all have special Terminator armor versions too. But ultimately, for me, $40. I got him about $40 after shipping. I thought, it's probably worth it. And I'm not disappointed. I think he's pretty awesome. And to be honest, I do think I like this more than the earlier Terminator one. This Chaos Terminator one I had. So far, I've been fiddling with him for about 15 minutes, so it's hard to say for sure. But for the stuff I'm going to be doing with him, nothing inappropriate or gross, but with my stop motion, I feel like this is going to be a lot easier to work with. We'll see, though. And I apologize. I hopefully I didn't trick any of you guys into watching this thinking, oh, he's going to be doing some cool that JoyToy commercial stop motion shit where it's awesome. Like, I'll never be that good or that patient. But I can screw around and try to make you guys giggle a little bit or say, oh, that's kind of cool. Get you excited about this. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. Give me a like, thumbs up, subscribe. Anytime you guys do, it makes me want to like make more videos. So again, if you have any appreciation for this at all, definitely give me a like. Feel free to join me. Give me some comments. What do you guys think? Do you guys have the old version compared to this version? Do you guys like the old ones more? Do you like the new ones more? It's hard to say. But Evil Clown Slayer out.